Welcome to the Laurent Collective podcast, where we go deeper than just surface talk.
Each week, we'll explore everything from family, business, creativity, culture, and faith.
To make sure not to miss an episode, be sure to subscribe and hop on to Instagram at Laurent Collective to chat with us about this episode.
Hello.
Hello.
We are back with you.
Or welcome for the first time.
Or welcome for the first time. And I'm just going to apologize right now. You might hear it in the background, drilling or hammering, as our neighbors have decided just as we hit record on this to do that. But we're going to keep going if you guys are cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, London life.
And you may not hear
living
it
on top of each other.
But just in case you're like, are they pounding or something? That's not us. That's I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, they've chose this time. So here we are. Today, we are going to talk about what tools we use in our business that have really helped us a lot. We get this question a lot from you other business owners of, especially in particular creative business owners, of the type of things that we use that have really helped us. And we could have an extensive long list, and we will definitely include a download with this podcast that you can grab and everything like that, that has links to all of this stuff. And we may put some more in there of things that we use. But we thought we would just talk through some that seem to be the most common questions we get that help us, frankly, just be more efficient. And that help to
be efficient and to be able to hopefully concentrate on the things that
matter,
we want to be doing rather than
exactly
the not so fun things with running your own business. So,
yes.
Yeah.
So I would say the number one question we get right now, since we in our creative business, we used to print everything at our house. So every print and artwork stuff that was ordered, every card, all of that, we would print it here and then ship it out from our house. We still have one place that we sell that we do that is in the UK, but everything else from our Etsy store to our Shopify store and that kind of thing is all connected to something else that we no longer print and ship from our home. And we could have a whole podcast on that probably, but for us, the reason why we made that decision, basically it's called print on demand. Well, we were already printing on demand. We didn't we didn't have stock that we printed from. We just had a really nice printer that we used. But this is now print on demand, that basically we have places in the US that they print, in the UK and in Europe and that kind of thing. So if someone orders from the US, they're getting something from the US. That was important for us for several reasons, but one was because it was taking so long during COVID to ship things from the UK to the States, and people weren't getting things when they wanted it and that kind of thing. So that was one of our driving decisions. But the other driving decision was we wanted to offer more of a product range, like T-shirts and mugs.
That was a big thing.
Yeah, and mugs and stuff. But we have no place to store inventory in our home in London and that kind of thing. And so in order to do that, then we needed to do print on demand. And we also didn't want to it was important for us to not have a lot of waste. And so we didn't want to order 150 mugs and end up with 20 that aren't selling and not know what to do with those. We have had that happen in the past. That's why we
learned from that. Same thing with T-shirts.
Not knowing what sizes to order for T-shirts, and we have a ton left over this size and that kind of thing. So with that, we decided to do a print on demand service, and we spent a lot of time researching, and there are lots out there, and so you'll want to research as well. But the one that we landed on and that we've been using for 3 years.
3 years now,
if not a little bit more.
So,
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
No, I think it's been I don't know. I think it's been maybe about 3 years. 2.5. There you go. And, so we've been through COVID with them. We've had, we've now have dealt with like customer service stuff. We've dealt with pretty much everything now with them. And it is called Printful. And basically the way that it works is it is a bit of setup, and you can speak about that a little bit because you did more of that stuff. But basically it works so that when someone orders something, you set it all up so that when someone orders something, let's say on your Etsy website, it literally sends a thing to them and they fulfill the order and then they ship it out. We have it in most of the different warehouses where they have our little cards that they insert with the order, so they know that, or you can make it so there's an automatic note that goes in with their order that says thank you and that kind of stuff if you wanted that was the one thing we used to do when we shipped from our home.
Yeah,
there was like stickers,
a little bit
of
a personal
there was
touch.
notes
Yeah.
and those kinds of things. And so this does make it feel a little less like that, but there are ways to still do that. And you don't need to go into details about the setup, but what kind of work did it take you, at least, I guess, to do on the back end to get it all functioning?
Yeah, I mean, I think
that was the biggest part of it.
I think the biggest part of it on the back end is just making sure that you have the correct like files, like types of files that they need for the different products and things like that. And they make it really straightforward on the back end side of it, of, certain size requirements, and they have templates if you need templates and like all that kind of stuff. But other than that, they really make it pretty straightforward as far as how to do it, simply uploading the image, and then it kind of walks you through a step-by-step process, depending on what it is, from either a print to, a hat to t-shirt, all those kind of things all the different types of products that you can put your artwork or your creative stuff on. That it's really, really simple. And so, and then what's cool is, once you either have done one product or whatever, like kind of your template in a sense is already set up. So then it's like, okay, well, now I want to do a t-shirt with this graphic. And so since you've already done that t-shirt, you just kind of like in some ways duplicate the listing. And then that's the other thing with the listings. Like, so when you create a store or you connect your store, so if you have an Etsy store or we have a Shopify store, and some other things, like you can connect each of these individual stores to this Printful place.
You don't do separate listings.
So you don't have
store.
to. Yeah, you don't have to do separate listings for each store, and you don't have to have like separate accounts for each store. It all kind of connects to one, which is really, really great. Like that's one thing that we really loved about it, is it can connect a bunch of different stores that we have, from Etsy to Shopify.
Does Amazon Handmade as well, and some other ones too.
And so that's just super, super helpful.
I think the biggest thing too, I know we do some business mentoring, and some people always ask like, well, how do I know how big I can go with something I've created? And like, it shows you on that the quality and that kind of thing too, of like, this would not be a good print in this size, or that kind of thing.
Yeah, they kind of like, if you upload your file and you wanted it to be, a ginormous like poster, and the file is too small, like it says like, this is, the quality will not be what you want it. And, they're really like kind of open about that.
And you can see how something looks on, because they have those templates, you can see how something would look on a mug, because you may think this will look great in a mug. And when you put it on, you're like, oh, that's really small, or I can't read that, or those kind of things. Yeah. And I would recommend, something we did before we chose this is we got samples. Yeah. So we put some of our designs on things, and we paid for samples. The samples, I think you get so many per month, and they're cheaper than what you would pay if you normally order them, and that kind of thing. For us, the reason why we selected this one is they had enough warehouses in the places where the people that we have order from us order. They had enough of a product range of all the stuff that we wanted, minus cards. Cards is a whole different thing. We have not found a good print-on-demand solution for that. So we just actually license our cards in different places and sell in those places instead. For cards. But it really has been, yes, just like everything else, there's been an occasional mug that has the handles broken, but they've been really quick to send it back out. There's so many products on there that we don't sell, but maybe things, they have everything from like aprons to leggings to like if you wanted to do print patterns and stuff like that. Our biggest advice would be know how much the products cost, and know how much they cost in the different regions, because there will be different taxes, like EU taxes or VAT in the UK and things like that, or a sales tax in the States. Know how much all that stuff costs, so that you can get your right price, get your pricing strategy down with it, and that kind of thing. And then if you have lots and lots of orders, you get discounts too on those orders, depending on how many orders you get a month and things like that. Yep. So there's lots of incentives with it too. I think for me too, like I used to spend a lot of time printing and I spent a lot of time packaging and like all that kind of stuff, that now, because we've kind of set up our shops in this way, it has allowed us, I can be creating new graphics more. I can be focusing more on like reaching out and newsletters and, more of the, business and marketing side of things. And so I think, again, it's really looking at where you want to spend your time with your business. And, And so for us, it just really meant like we felt like we were spending way too much time, and we didn't have the space
to keep a bunch of inventory of things. And so,
and it is, I will say, pricing it out versus us printing on our own or getting a huge, thing of stuff. It is a bit more expensive than it would be for doing those things. And so again, you have to individually decide what is best for your business. But for us, this strategy has worked the best and has enabled us to grow our business in other areas better. Speaking of that, one thing we've been able to do since we implemented that is have a usually weekly newsletter. And Pat is just so you guys know, like Pat's the designer and the illustrator and artist, and I do more of the marketing side. I do have a little bit of knowledge when it comes to designing some stuff, but very little. And so I personally wanted something that I wanted to make our newsletters look nice, but I don't want to spend a ton of time on making them look nice or having to ask Pat for more of his time to do that, because that's just that we did do that at one point and it was just annoying. And we've tried all kinds of different newsletter, what are they called? Apps, programs, whatever. And we have landed on using Flowdesk as the one for Low Rent Collective and our products and everything. And the reason why is because it's really clean and simple, which fits our brand. And they have drag and drop templates that it's like, yep, like that one, put that in, or, grab a template for an email type and then you can easily change it. It's easy to change the colors to your brand colors. It's easy to put an image in there. It's just easy. Yeah. And then once you have a lot of newsletters done and stuff, you can like duplicate that one and copy that to use in the next one and that kind of thing. And so I think I got our newsletter template set up within like maybe less than an hour. And then easily I can go in and write a month, like 4 newsletters. I can easily do that in an hour as well. And more of the time, more of the thing that's taking me is I get really picky on my words and stuff like that. So that's more the thing that's taking me more time. And knowing what topics to stuff, but I can't say enough about Flowdesk. If you're looking for something, it does have, for those of you that may be a little bit further along and are looking for things like workflows, like when somebody, they have pop-ups and everything as well through Flowdesk. So if you're wanting to know when somebody, on our website, for instance, when you jump on our website, you can get a 10% discount if you join our newsletter and that kind of thing. And so you can put that person into a workflow. It doesn't have, I think the good thing is they are constantly changing and upgrading things. And so it may not have, we use ActiveCampaign for something separate because that one has more, what do they call them? Triggers and that kind of thing. And then it puts those people into a new category where this one isn't quite there yet, but you can do it yourself as well. And I have no doubt that that's coming and that kind of thing. So I would highly recommend it. Pat's not saying much because he really doesn't do anything with it because that just shows you right there, like how helpful it is that it, he doesn't have to do anything with it. So that is Flowdesk. Another one is for scheduling your social media content, social media content and Pinterest as well. And again, we have tried lots of different apps and we've tried all of the apps. We've tried all of them, I think, because there's so many out there. And as many of you will know from some of our most recent past podcasts and stuff, we are currently not even on social media for a month for our business, but we are still doing Pinterest, which I don't consider social media. I consider that like a search engine, basically. And so we needed something that did Pinterest well and also did social media well for when we're normally on there. And so I use it because Pat doesn't really do anything with this either. And it's called Tailwind. And it has a monthly fee, and everything like that. But the monthly fee has been well worth it. First, I'll talk about because of social media and what we use it for is, for Facebook and for Instagram. I don't know if I've used it for Facebook that much because I schedule our stuff from Facebook, but for Instagram, and they have some other things you can use it for too. But with Instagram, you can literally go in and plan your month. And then you can have it automatically post if you have a business account, automatically post to your account. But I always had it where it would just send me a notification so that I'm physically going in and putting it in and posting it. So either way, if we were on a holiday or something, I would just have it automatic. And so that makes it great because then I'm not trying to come up with something, when we'll see what happens after this little break.
Yeah, definitely.
But when we were doing social media, I would take a day or, a month and would work on all of our posts for the month, write them all, have they have a really good hashtag to show you the hashtags that are really popular, or the hashtags maybe you don't want too many in doing this one because there's too many millions of people using it, that kind of thing. They have that in there. And then I would put the image in and everything like that, and then put the date and the time that I want it to go. And you can either have it notify you or do it automatic. And that was the way that we did social media, and it was really good. And then it also was a triggering point for me too to go in and interact with people on social media too when I posted at that time. And then it also does Pinterest, and that you can, again,
that's huge for us.
That's huge for us, exactly. Again, look at what's driving traffic to your website, and Pinterest for us is it. Then Pinterest, the reason why I really like it is you can go in, and this is the same for Instagram. We just don't happen to like design our Instagram posts. We just use images. But if you wanted to, you have more like a graphic thing or something like that on Instagram, it has those abilities to create and do that too. But then especially for Pinterest, I can take in one of our product images and then add graphics to it and that kind of thing. And it's all, again, Pat doesn't have to help me with this. It's all in there. They have templates set up. You put the link to the website you want the pin to go to, and you can write the little description in there. And then you set up your boards, and it links with your Pinterest account, and you pick the boards you want it to go to, and you schedule the date. So for instance, I think I have pins scheduled through August right now. And then I'll go in once a month and I'll add new pins. We might have new products. We'll obviously have new podcasts, things like that, new things to offer people that I'll go in and add. And then it also does the wonderful thing, I don't want to speak too much about Pinterest, that it tells you if you've already pinned that recently, because you can get kind of dinged a little bit if you're pinning the same website too much. Yeah. So it keeps track of all that for you. I have not found a better solution for that with Pinterest. Again, like I did say, it is a monthly fee, but for the amount of traffic that comes to our website through Pinterest and purchases we get and things like that, you can do that. You can pin anything. Like you can pin your Etsy store. You can pin whatever it is, podcast, your courses you're teaching, all of that stuff. Blog posts are huge, all of that. And so again, it's one place I can go, schedule it all, and then it's just running, and then it sends you a report every week to see how things are going and that kind of stuff. And so again, I really recommend Tailwind, and we have been in business for a while, so we've tried out a few others.
Yeah, we've tried a lot.
And this one, there used to be a free option that I use, not Tailwind, but another free option we use, but now they charge, and they don't have the amount of stuff that Tailwind has. So these ones, sorry, Pat has been quiet because it's been stuff that
it's a lot of the things that we're talking about are more like I don't want to say the business side of it, but they are how we get people to see the things that we're doing. And, or that, how we stay connected with our audience and things like that. So.
So then we get questions on we do still sell on Etsy, and we sell on some other places and stuff like that, but you'll hear from us over and over, you should have your own website too. It doesn't have to be fancy. No. You shouldn't be spending months and months on it. Just get something up and you can always change it. Like that's what we've done. Ours has evolved. Yeah. We've added things, we've changed things, all that stuff. And so we use Shopify as our main store, basically.
Yeah, it's our main storefront.
Yeah, exactly. And Pat, you had more of you were the behind the scenes, designing the website. And so you might have more input of how you found it and that kind of thing for Shopify.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like a lot of the different website apps in a lot of ways. I mean, it's pretty simple. They have multiple templates you can use. They have, all that kind of stuff. But then, if you have any understanding of coding and things like that, it's really easy to kind of go in and tweak different things and change things. But you don't have to. Right? You don't have to at all. It's another one of those places where it's literally like a drag and drop and all that kind of stuff, and it's easy to change and update and all that kind of stuff. And so, but for us, I think it was we chose Shopify more because of the e-commerce side of it. And it's super easy to create, product listings and create collections and put things together. And it's really intuitive in that sense. And so, so for me, I think more of the back end side of it, again, I did not go to school for coding or any of that kind of stuff. Yeah. Again, I'm more of a visual person, but using the back end of Shopify has been super easy to figure out and learn, and it's yeah, I think it's really benefited us. I mean, again, we don't want to have a lot of bells and whistles and stuff on our websites and things like that. And so with this, it was, it was a right choice, and it doesn't, I'm sure you could have all those bells and whistles, but,
there's a lot of stuff you can add to it.
There's a lot of stuff you can add to it, but for us, we tend to keep things pretty simple and kind of easy and for people to navigate through and stuff like that as well.
And it's
but yeah,
really,
the back end, it's really not that big. If you have experience in any of those, the website builders and things like that, you'll be definitely capable of using Shopify. So,
and there's templates you can buy for it and all kinds of stuff. And I do a lot of the stuff with the products, and it's really easy to put new products on there and, put them in categories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they have a huge help center as well that is super helpful, or have time you can Google it and find like a YouTube video on how to do something you might be stuck on and that kind of stuff. There's also blog capability with it too.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it is super helpful and super, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
To get it set up on there. And then we also we use Shopify for our products, and it links with Printful as well, which is great because then someone orders it, the order goes through, and they're fulfilling it before we could be sleeping while that's happening. Then we also use Lead Pages, and that is more for like any of our business mentoring, our course, and things like that. And that is just basically, again, Pat does the templates and stuff for it, and I go in and do the type and text and things, or the linking of things. And it is, you have found it like, really...
it's another one of those like website builder kind of thing, back end things. And again, it's really easy. It's a lot of drag and drop and a lot of, they have really great templates that you can start out with and then change and edit and add and take away and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, if you have any experience or have spent any time in some of those back end website builders and things like that, it'll be really easy for you to kind of navigate. But yeah, it's super easy. You can create like, color palettes. Like, so if you have like certain branding colors, you can, set all that stuff up and add fonts if you need to add certain fonts and just things like that, that you might need.
And again,
brand wise,
it's
easy. You can do it.
Yeah,
so.
On Lead Pages, you can do a whole website, and then you can also do just like plain like landing pages.
Right.
Flowdesk has a little bit of that too, but for some of the stuff we're doing, we needed something just a little bit more robust, especially because if people are signing up for our course and things like that. Flowdesk would be just getting people on an email list. I should say that you're not selling things. And so with all of these stuff that we mentioned, both Shopify and Lead Pages, there's different like categories, if you will, that you can sign up for monthly fees. Like I think on Shopify, we're on the lowest one, and that has been perfectly fine for us. And that has worked really well and has been well worth it for sure. And you can, I mean, with both of those, they're just super helpful things. And you can link them to one another as well. Like if people want to learn from us, they can find that on our website and things like that. So those are like, so again, excuse me, Printful is what we use for print on demand, and we love it because it has taken away so much of our work. Again, it may not be for everybody, but it's also been able to provide us to be able to offer a whole lot of products we weren't able to do before, from pillows, mugs, t-shirts, things like that. Flowdesk is what we use for our newsletters, and we really like it just because, again, if you don't have any design experience and stuff like that, and you want to make your newsletters look nice and clean and simple, but like really pleasing to the eye as well, it's really good for that. Tailwind is what we use for basically for any kind of scheduling of social media and Pinterest. And the reason why I love it is because that means then you're not spending a ton of time on those things. You can go and do it, and then it's taken care of and it's working on its own. For both of our websites, both for our Allurant Collective Learning, we use Lead Pages, and then for allurantcollective.com for our products that we sell, we use Shopify. And then the last thing we thought we would touch on, because it's been super helpful for us, and we, you guys are learning from us right now, but we are constantly learning from other people. And I cannot say enough about Skillshare. There is a free version of it, but we pay for I can't remember what it's called. Is it Skillshare Pro? I don't know what sorry that I can't remember the exact.
Premium or
premium or something. We use that, and I mean, you can literally, it's like another search engine kind of thing. You put it in and you have a topic like Etsy advertising or something like that. And there's so much stuff on there. And sometimes I have ended up finding people that I signed up for their course outside of things too, because I've enjoyed their Skillshare class so much. But I mean, Pat, you've used it from everything like illustration, like you've used it for a ton of stuff too.
I've used it with so many different things, or even like when I first got Procreate for my iPad, like I think they had just like a basic like Procreate class. And I mean, again, it's just little things that you can just figure out and learn. And or I mean, anything creative, goodness gracious, it's on there.
I was making a cake for a friend's wedding, baking, there was cake decorating on there. I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface of it. But I think what's good to know is it's not, what I found helpful, it's not just about creating all the time. It's also, like I said, there's marketing stuff on there. There's stuff about social media on there. There's, some of these, I think Tailwind I found because I took a course on there about Pinterest, and I was like, oh, yes, I want to use that. And that kind of, there's things for YouTube. There's things for advertising. I mean, anything. Goes on and on and on. Yep. And you'd be surprised, probably if you have
even if you like really struggle, like, if you're like on like a holiday or whatever, like take a quick course on like iPhone photography, things like that if you want to take better photos, like when you're on vacation or something.
Or you want like a fun thing to learn with your kids. Even we used it during lockdown of like, there was like watercolor stuff on there and things like that. So it's actually, and the reason why we went for the premium one is just like the cost for it for a year.
Yeah, I mean,
compared to how much we actually use it, actually was so worth it. So I know this was a lot, and you're probably like, instead of having to go and Google all of these things, we will literally put the links in the notes, and we'll actually put a link to a download too, that you can have this all in one place. So you don't have to keep going back to click on the different links. We'll put that, and we'll probably add some other things in there too that we find useful that we didn't touch on. But do let us know if you have questions.
Yeah, or if you have a tool that you enjoy and that's working really well for you, I'd love to hear more about that.
Exactly. We wanted to share this because we learned it from from other people about all of these things. And so that's why we're sharing it with you. And if you have something to share with us, we'd love to know about it too. So we hope this has been helpful and that you can use some of these tools to just help streamline some things and help you be able to have the time to spend on the things that you really want to be doing in your business. No one wants to be spending all day long pinning, but it's a really good thing to bring website traffic. So, so that's where these things come in handy. So we hope you have found it helpful, and we will talk to you guys soon.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode of the Laurent Collective podcast. If you enjoyed today's podcast, be sure to subscribe and leave a review, which helps others find our podcast. Continue the conversation with us over on Instagram at Laurent Collective.
We look forward to going deeper than just surface talk with you again next week.